In this book, are you talking at all about what I feel like everybody's talking about it lately? And I wanted to bring it up because I watched it and it it kind of brought a tear to my eye. Oh man, I don't want it to now, but it kind of did. And I thought, good for her. Was the Loki legend stuff?
Thank you.
Holy smokes!
I thank
What
you.
a way to take the feed. Take the feed. Take the news feed. Just own it in a hard world of just every day there's something new, something viral, something happening in all the overall wrestling pantheon. So just to take it and present in the way you did, hats off to you. It was
Thank
special,
you.
yeah.
Thank you so much. So when I was about halfway through the book, I realized that I was like living a lot of my life over the last probably 2 decades of this tightly woven like childhood trauma where I was just trying so hard to be what I thought everybody wanted me to be.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I kept on thinking, like, even when I was trying to get to WWE or I was trying to, trying to make characters work, I was like, what would they like? Or what would the audience like? Or what would my opponent like? Or what would make the girls happy in the locker room? Maybe this will make them happy. This will make them like me more. This will make them.
Yeah.
About halfway through the book, I was like, I had this epiphany that I needed to just like take a chance on myself.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was saying to TJ the other day about you, I said, you're a really big inspiration for me because you had so much courage to take a chance on yourself and your dreams and to do shit that was crazy. I mean, if people go back and watch and look up some of your indie stuff, you did some crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, physically crazy stuff where it was in front of nobody. I'm not sure if there was much money involved or anything.
No.
And you were putting yourself out there and reinventing yourself in a way that was, you just took this crazy chance on yourself.
Yeah.
And so the Loki legend character, it came from the book. It came from me reaching a point in the book. And that's why the book has got so much range in it. It's very funny, but it's also very deep. And there's a very deep story in it where I just kind of reached a breaking point personally where I was like, are you going to spend the rest of your career just trying to be what you think everybody wants you to be? Or are you going to take a chance and be who you really are?
Yeah.
And it was so easy for me to dive into that role because that role really stemmed from the work that I did in the dungeon when I was first learning how to train. And my first everything was in the dungeon. My first lockup, my first drop kick, my first bump, everything was in the dungeon. And I always knew that girl when I first started, she was just gritty. She had that Stu Hart grit.
Yeah.
And one day, it was like a couple weeks before WrestleMania, I was feeling a little frustrated. I felt like I was lost. Like I was like, where do I fit in? Because I knew that creatively, Hunter wanted to find something. He wanted to find something for me where he wanted it to be meaningful. We had talked about finding something meaningful, but sometimes that takes time to find that.
Sometimes it takes too much time.
And so I just decided, you know what, you can't just wait, Natty. You gotta take the bull by the horns. Yeah. So I got to talking and talked to Josh Barnett and said, Bloodsport was what I did in the dungeon.
Yeah.
The dungeon was Bloodsport before Bloodsport was Bloodsport. And Josh and I have trained together. I know Josh very well. Josh believed in me and said, absolutely, let's do it.
I love that.
Walked up to Hunter. He was doing a rehearsal at Raw. Everybody and their brother was trying to talk to him.
Yeah.
He made time for me. He literally just was like, he just talked to me. And I said, hey, and it's so, trust me, better than anyone. He's somebody that he's approachable, but everybody's trying to get to him, especially when they need an answer. It's something about TV or it's something that night that's going on live in 2 hours.
Also, other people ruin the approach. You might have something super authentic and sincere, and 3 yahoos have gone up to him and pitched them winning the title, and really self-serving and not even done in a tactful way, just super, And by the time you get to him, you've got him worn out.
Yeah, and he's like, totally. And so he stopped, he made the time for me, he listened to me, and I said I would love to do Bloodsport, and it's during Mania weekend. He said, sure. He goes, I love it. Let's do it. Absolutely.
I love that.
And because I had anxiety that morning, I was saying to TJ, I was like, what if he, doesn't want me to, or what if they don't let me, or what if it's what if, no, it was just taking a chance on myself. Yeah. He said yes, and then I was like, now I'm gonna get to work, and I'm gonna blow this up so that this is what I want to do, and I'm not gonna ask
Oh.
I'm going to show them, which is what like Chelsea Green is a perfect example of somebody that she doesn't just write down an idea, she shows them. She physically presents it. So being able to do that low-key legend character at Bloodsport, it was like an audition.
Yeah.
I treated it like an audition. It was trending for 2 days. It went viral. Yeah. People loved it. And I think the girl that I wrestled, Miyu Yamashita, she's one of the best female wrestlers that's not signed by WWE, but she's one of the best in the world. She
But she's one of the best in the world. She's amazing. So incredible shout out to her. But don't sell yourself short.
Thanks, Cody.
I know this from personal experience. The rub is twofold. You're getting the street rub. Street's not the way to put it, but you know what I mean. Yeah. There's this underground.
Yes, underground.
You're also giving a mainstream rub. You're getting people who would never look are looking, and that's why it takes two. It takes two. I made the mistake a long time ago of overly being grateful and thankful, and hey, it was him. It was him. It was us.
Yeah.
It was us.
We made magic together.
Exactly. It takes two. There's two names on the marquee. It's why we do this random wrestler shake hands 50,000 times.
Right.
Because I need you, you need me. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Don't have to love each other.
She was phenomenal, but you're right. The magic was in us working together.
Is she going to come work here?
She better.
Yeah.
Miyu Yamashita.
I'm scared now.
She's a badass, but I still whipped her ass.
Yeah.
So
love this. Love this.
So I said to TJ, I go, I want to make sure that everybody knows that performance at Bloodsport was not a fluke.
Yeah.
So I went to Triple H. I said, can I do NWA? I want to work for Billy Corgan. And Billy's a very close friend of mine. And I said to Billy, I said, give me your best girl. And I want to work a match with her. I want to build a program with her. He gave me Kenzie Page. And I said to TJ, I said, my match
really
with Kenzie, I'm going to show everybody that the match with Miyu was not a fluke.
Yeah.
Kenzie and I, at NWA, we sold out the ECW arena. The match was amazing. It was so much fun. I said to TJ afterwards, I go, I want to make sure that everybody knows that match with Kenzie and that match with Miyu was not a fluke.
Sure.
I asked Hunter if I could work for Booker T. And so I wrestled a girl.
T-Book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, T-Book. Eh?
So I asked Booker T, I said, who's your best girl? Who's the girl that's going to push me to my limits?
Yeah.
Who's your best girl? And he said, Promise Braxton. So I said, give me Promise. I had this phenomenal match with Promise.
Yeah.
And then I asked Josh, I said, I want to wrestle I want to do Bloodsport during SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Give me your best girl. He gave me Masha. Like, so my thing is it was about proving that I could do this. It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
I did it over and over and over and over again because I, like you, took a chance on myself. I didn't just rely on Natalya. Yeah. The thing about Natalya, and I've said this before, but she's very safe. She's very consistent. She's very solid.
Safe. Presentation is guaranteed.
Consistent, safe, solid. You know
what you're getting, what it looks like.
And listen, I wrestled on a broken ankle. I wrestled Naomi in London with a completely broken ankle because I was booked on the show. And I'm a person of my word.
I like that toxic mentality. I love it.
I broke my ankle during rehearsal. I did a baseball slide through Naomi's leg. I
remember this actually. Yeah.
I broke my ankle during the day. And they told me, everybody was like, we can pull you from the match.
No.
This is me being selfish. I was booked to win. And I was like, I'm not giving up my win.
Yeah, right.
I'm not giving up my win. Yeah. So I told everybody I was fine. And they were like, no, we just need to let you sit it out. You're not fine, you're limping. I wrestled that night. It was a 3-minute match. I walked out like Undertaker.
Yeah.
I walked out so slow, you would have thought I was Undertaker's daughter for how slow I was walking. I wrestled Naomi with a completely broken ankle, and I was like, I am not giving up my win. This is a sold-out arena. There's 20,000 people here. I'm doing my match. And that's Natalya. She's rock solid. And I love that, but she's also safe. She wants to make everyone happy. I want to make the girls happy, and it's not a bad thing. By any means. I love being consistent and reliable and everything else, but I also know that if you keep doing the same things you've always done, you're going to get the same results.
Sure.
If I want a different result, I've got to dive into something else.
Yeah.
So I loved, like you did, you took a chance on yourself and it paid off.
The chance thing is really unique in a sense that you can ask for permission on a lot of stuff. And it's almost like we don't hear when people say, yeah, sure. Or they give you, the only green light you need is the faintest color of green light. That's all. And you don't need to double back on it and go, how am I doing? Is it okay? No, you just go.
Yeah.
Just go until somebody, oh, hey, this isn't, no, we can't do this. Just go. And I feel one of the bigger mistakes that all wrestlers make, and we are all guilty of this. And this is not to knock any positions of where the office is compared to where the talent are and things of that nature. A mistake wrestlers make all the time is they forget how much power is actually within the wrestling talent, how much power is within the human, the wrestler. I don't know if it's the way we're wired or if it's the fact that the checks come from. I don't know what it is, but at a certain point for me, and maybe it's something you discovered with the Low-Ki Legend or even long before that, at a certain point for me, I just stopped giving it power. I have a massive respect and a massive understanding of the infrastructure, particularly with my executive experience now of like I totally understand and respect it. But at the end of the day, this show is based upon, I'm looking at Brett and Anvil behind you on that painting. I'm looking at all this. There isn't a wing here for really great executives, and that's not to knock them at all. But I feel like one of the things that gets stripped away is you almost get scared. And I don't know, at a certain point, nothing scares me anymore. Except maybe Brock Lesnar, but nothing beside, nothing. Yeah. And that's a good place to be. It's a dangerous place to be because then you find out like, hey, there are things, there are borders, there are, guidelines, but I was so excited to see it.
Thank you.
I was so excited to see it.
Thank you.
Will we see more?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, you will.
And
I'm manifesting all of it, and I'm grabbing it by the horns, and I'm running hard with it, because I would rather, and this is the big thing, and I saw Dwayne Johnson talking about this when he was doing press for Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
He said, he was like, I just wanted to take a chance on something, and I wanted to do a project for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just try it, just do. And by the way, that movie, he's the most vulnerable I've ever seen him. He goes to a place where it was like, I've never seen, you'd never see him crying and sobbing the way that
I saw it. It's outstanding.
He should,
it's
I
jarring.
think, win an Oscar for it, because you just don't, especially with somebody that physically, you see how he looks physically, and then you see him, I got emotional watching it, because, especially for guys that were trying to pave the way for MMA in those early days, there wasn't much money involved in it at all. And you see him just beside himself with the loss, and he's crying, and his relationship was falling apart, but you see him it's like for him, it was a role that he needed to do for himself. I saw that, I felt like he took that part for himself, for him.
Sure. Did you also get a sense of, because second and third generations they have twin magic to a degree. We think about each other. It's a strange thing. We shouldn't think about each other, but we do. You'll hear about, oh, such and such's son is getting into it. Oh, her on NXT. That's you think about each other. I almost wish there was this collective group chat to get with everybody. And I also know that not everyone will make it, because maybe their love is different. Maybe their priorities are different. I'll round this out in terms of about taking a chance. With you talking to me now is very motivating, because I feel like lately I've been the safest version of me ever. I've been completely buttoned up, and having children is like Donkey and Shrek at the end of the movie, where it's like, oh man, I gotta get a job. That's a whole bit, that's the first thing I thought was, oh, I gotta really, these days are behind me of just kind of wild swings and things of that nature, but it's still wired in my frame that I gotta, you have to do that stuff. Otherwise you're not able to live with your resume. You're not able to live with your work, your body of work, if this really wasn't how you wanted to go about doing it.